nail soup from the Balkans. Long time ago there was a war between two countries. And it finally ended because both kings ran out of money. Wouldn't that be nice if all wars had a budget and when they ran out of money, they stopped? Well, the one king turned to his soldiers and said, I don't have anything to give you except for a loaf of bread, and that's it. And so he gave every one of his men a loaf of bread. That was their pay. Well, for some men, it lasted till they got home 2 or 3 days later. But for some men, they had to walk to the other side of the kingdom. And they were out of bread after 3 or 4 days. So, one soldier stopped in the village and thought, I fought for these people for many years. I'm sure they're going to help me. So he walked up to a door and he knocked. A young woman opened the door and said, yes, may I help you? He said, I'm a soldier come back from the war and I'm very hungry. If you give me something to eat, I'll work for you. I'll chop wood, I'll bring water from the well, anything you need, I'll do it for you. And she said, go away. I don't have any extra food. I don't have any extra money. Just go away. And she slammed the door in his face. Fair enough, he said. He went to the next house. Knocked again. Old man this time. And the old man said, what do you want? He says, I was wondering if you could help me. I'm a soldier and I'm really hungry and I'll work for my food. Go away. Don't have anything to share. Slammed the door in his face. Next time, he went to another door, knocked on that door, and this was a little boy. And the little boy said, what do you want? No one had said hello. They just were rude. And he said, I'm a soldier, come home from the war, can you help me? And the boy said, no, and slammed the door in his face. But the soldier watched as he walked along, and he looked and he saw that every single house had a big garden filled with vegetables, fruit trees heavy with fruit. They had chickens, they had goats, they had plenty of food, but they wouldn't share it with him. So he walked into the park, sat down on a bench, unbuttoned his tunic, took off his hat, put his musket up against the bench, thought he'd rest till he went to the next village. He still had his musket and his sword. He could have taken anything he wanted, but he wasn't that kind of man. And he looked at the bench and realized that it smelled so good. Cedar. It was freshly made. You could see the sawdust. No wonder it smelled so good. They just put a new bench here. Ah, that's wonderful. And he looked down, and next to the bench was a handful of nails. And he picked up those nails and he said, oh, this is good. When I get home, I'm going to have a lot of repairs to do to my house. I'll keep these nails. And he started to put them in his pocket when he got an idea. And the soldier jumped up on the bench, and at the top of his voice he yelled, people of the village, come out, come out, come out! I have a gift for you. And people pulled back their curtains and they opened their doors a little bit. He says, don't be shy, it's free. When they heard the word free, they all came out. And they stood around the bench and he said, I am a soldier and I have fought for the king for many years. I have fought around the world. And when I was with the Empress of China, she told me a secret, how to make soup from nails. Very delicious soup. All the great kings and queens drink it. Very high in iron. But the people said, well, we've never heard of nail soup. He said, it's a closely guarded secret. The Emperor of Japan, he has it every day. In fact, I heard that the Queen of America drinks it every day too. Wow. Would you make it for us? I will. What I'll need is a big pot, huge pot, lots of firewood, and lots of water to fill it about 3/4 to the top. So the people started looking for a pot. One man said, wait a minute, my sister used to be a witch. We got a really big pot in the backyard. They dragged this big, huge pot, must have been this big, put it down in the park in front of the bench. They piled wood around it and they started the fire and they started pouring water and they filled it almost to the top. And everyone's watching and the water starts boiling. And they say, do you put the nails in now? And he goes, not yet. First we have to put something to make it kind of special. Potatoes, carrots, that would be nice. One man said, I got potatoes. And another man said, oh, I have a bag of carrots. A big bag, 5 pounds. Bring them over. And they spread it on the table that was in front of the bench, and he cut it up with his sword, and they put all the potatoes and the carrots in there, and it started to boil again. And, oh, it started to smell good. They said, you put the nails in now? He said, not yet. You know what makes nail soup really good? And the people all went, no. Tomatoes. Oh, tomatoes. Well, everybody had tomatoes at home. They all brought them, dozens of tomatoes. They chopped them up and they put them in the water. Oh, it smelled wonderful. One little boy said, do you put the nails in now? And he said, not yet. You know what makes nail soup fantastic? And the people all went, no. If we had some garlic and salt and pepper and oregano, a little basil, perfect. Well, everybody had spices at home. They all brought them, gave them to the soldier. He put them in, stirred up that pot with his sword, and oh, the smell. And the little boy says, now you put the nails in? Not yet. You know what makes nail soup great? And the people all said, no. Cabbage. Oh, cabbage is wonderful in nail soup. So people brought cabbages, and he cut up those heads of cabbages and put it in. The aroma of that soup was so good. And they said, now you put the nails in. He said, not yet. He said, you know what makes nail soup perfect? They said, no. What? Leftover meat. Chicken, pork, lamb, beef, anything you got that's left over. Everybody had leftovers. They ran and got them. He chopped all the leftover meat up, put it in the pot, stirred it up, and he said, now everyone, go home and bring a big bowl and a soup for yourself, a soup spoon for yourself, and bring an extra one for me, please. And bring something to share. Maybe some dessert, some fruit, some juice, something to share with everyone. Everybody ran home, and they brought bowls and spoons, an extra one for the soldier. They brought cupcakes and pies that they had saved. Fruit, everything. The tables were piled up high in the park. And he started dishing it out. And everybody got a big bowl of soup. Some people had 2 bowls of soup. Some people had 3. Some people had 4. And then people picked up their fiddles and they started playing. And people were dancing and singing. People would start telling stories. It was a wonderful day, till finally one little boy said, wait a minute, you never put the nails in. And everybody stopped. And they all looked at the soldier. And he walked over to the little boy and he said, you're right, I didn't put the nails in. And he reached in his pocket and he took out the nails, and very gently he put the nails in the little boy's hand and said, you keep the nails, son. And next time someone comes to your door and they're hungry, you'll know just what to do. And the soldier was right. Nail soup made everyone so happy and so wise.